back at the Wissahickon course at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. You'll recall, back in the fall,
we had no idea that it would be as marvelous to play. It's one thing to walk around all the holes and see all the great features. It's another one to actually play.
So we started with a $10,000 first prize, and it's grown every year, and this year it's $75,000.
I mean, I'm more happy just to get a win in the Philly section against all the good players.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management. I'm Harry Donahue, and we are back at the Wissahickon course at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. You'll recall, back in the fall, we were here as they were just finishing up the restoration project. They weren't going to allow any play until this spring. Well, now the course is open to members and their guests, and wait till you'll see what has happened here at the Wissahickon course. We'll take a look and talk to Greg Geyer, who was the committee chairman for that restoration project, as well as Al Thurell, the president of Philadelphia Cricket Club. We'll also go not far away to Sunnybrook Golf Club, where local pros were involved recently in an event that had the biggest payday for members of the Philadelphia section of the PGA. It's all coming up next on Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management. Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management, helping you build, manage, and preserve wealth. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.
Honey, what are all these cash rewards?
Stellar Checking with Smart Rewards. We earn cash on check card purchases and when we transfer money from our Stellar Checking into our savings account.
Cool. How should we spend them?
Stellar. Stellar.
Stellar!
Probably groceries.
Stellar Checking from Susquehanna Bank. Earn cash rewards whether you're spending or saving. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management. Here we are at the Wissahickon course, the restored Wissahickon course of the Philadelphia Cricket Club, with Greg Geyer, no stranger to Inside Golf. It seems like just a few weeks ago, it was a few months ago, Greg, when we were here with you. The project almost was complete at that time, back in the fall. You let things kind of be sedate over the winter, and now you have your gem of a golf course. How do you feel right now, just less than a week into the play?
Well, Harry, feel fantastic. It's been a great start back to all the members played over the weekend. We had people from all over the area playing today, and the feedback's been tremendous. The golf course is playing great. We were able to tie in to the new clubhouse, and so it's really, really exciting time for the club.
Your expectations, I know going in, everybody has to fear a little bit about the outcome and things like that. Where are you in terms of now seeing what this restoration project has achieved?
Well, the expectations have been exceeded. I had no idea that it would be as marvelous to play. It's one thing to walk around all the holes and see all the great features. It's another one to actually play it, to be in some of the deep bunkers, but also to be in the fairways and the greens, and it has far exceeded all my expectations.
Speaking of the greens, the one thing I noticed playing today here at the Wissahickon course is the size of the greens. I knew they were going to be larger. I didn't anticipate. I said to somebody, it seems like they're maybe 15 to 20%. I was low. Danny Mearsman, who is your superintendent, for want of a better term, told me they're even larger than that.
They are. They're probably about 25 to 30% larger in total, and that's really to take them back to the pad that Tilly had when he originally started. Over years, greens tend to encroach. The rough, everything tends to encroach over time. What we did in this restoration is take it back to the total size that we had originally, so they're much more enjoyable, they're much more spacious, and hopefully much more easy for people to hit many different shots into.
Every green has no fringe. Now, I personally have never played on a golf course without any fringe. The other thing I noticed, a majority of the greens have in some places two, as many as 4 rollback areas up in the corners. And I understand from talking to Danny and yourself, this was another Tillinghast design feature.
Well, Tilly on most of his greens would have a place where you do not want to go long or you don't want to go to the side. He would short side you, he would put big slopes, and what we did is we tried to restore some of those key slopes, not too treacherous, but enough to know you can't miss it there or you're really not going to be able to get it up and down.
Something else I noticed about a golf course that has only been open for play for less than a week is the fact these greens seem like they've been not for 5 days, for 5 years. There's no seams, and this was all sodded greens, right?
All sodded greens, and I mean the USGA does a phenomenal job in terms of how they build USGA greens today. So it's well tested, and the sodding of them I think was just the icing on the ice cream. I think it just absolutely made them fantastic. They roll great, they've got great speed as you saw today, and they're very true. You just got to get it online and it'll go in.
They are very true. And there's some subtleties here off the golf course. For instance, right now where we're standing, there used to be a road right in front of the clubhouse here. That road has been replaced. I guess it's sort of like a semi-cart path or service road, but no longer are cars permitted through here. And you've actually moved the green in 18 closer to the clubhouse. Explain that a little bit.
Well, what we were looking for is a more intimate feel between the clubhouse and the golf course. And really the reason we took out the road that used to be in front here was because you'd be sitting there having dinner and you'd have a car drive by and another car, and we felt there's something pleasurable about just the quietness. And so yes, this 2-track that you see here is only for golf carts, and that's very sparingly used even on the course today.
And talk about the patio where members and their guests can dine. Another thing I noticed right away was this place is a little bit bigger. It's a lot more than just a little bit, isn't it?
Well, I think people really enjoy watching golf, and this patio sits right on top of the golf course, both the first hole drive and the 18th hole coming in, and it's meant to be enjoyable, and an integral part of golf is the socializing component, so it has worked fantastic. We had about 400 people here for our opening night on Thursday night. We had everyone, even with the rain, and it was a fantastic event.
Yeah, let me ask you one more question. Any more restoration projects for you?
No more restoration projects. I need to restore my golf game is what I need to restore, and get on that practice range, enough away from loving the golf course to actually trying to get better on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't care what your score is, it's going to feel a lot better walking 18 here at the Wissahickon course. It is a phenomenal job. The project under your direction came through in an A+. Greg, job well done.
Thanks, Harry, and thanks to Inside Golf. Thank y'all for coming out, and I really appreciate it because this is a momentous event for us, and thanks for sharing in it.
Hey, Gordon.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. They would never have given us that putt if you weren't here. I really appreciate it.
Well, we just saw Gordon Dean, who is the president of San Francisco Golf Club. Somebody conceded you a putt. That was about, 6 feet, 5 feet? Am I stretching a little bit, Gordon?
You might be right. I think it was 2.5 feet. But
Which means you're a good putter. You were going to make that anyhow.
It's a gentleman's game, and luckily, some of the guys from San Francisco golf are gentlemen, and
now,
I appreciate it.
This whole foursome is from your club on the West Coast.
That's exactly right.
Which is a Tillinghast design.
It is, and in fact, it's the only Tillinghast course out west. So
is it really?
So we get a little lonely out there. No one really knows a lot about Tillinghast. We come back here. It's good to see some folks who are experts.
Now, is this your first trip to the Philadelphia Cricket Club?
I was here for a wedding, and I played a round of golf here 24 years ago, but it was a very different place, and I certainly didn't know how to play golf. I had rented clubs and tennis shoes, and this is a very different experience.
Well, what about the experience? What do you think about the restoration?
I just absolutely love it. Love the greens, love the grass on the bunkers. Hell's Half Acre was everything I imagined it to be, and that there's a little short par 3 that reminds us a lot of what a hole we call Little Tilly back in San Francisco, and anyway, it's been absolutely spectacular.
I was going to say, are there similarities in a Tillinghast design from one coast to the other?
Oh, you absolutely see it. Yeah,
Really?
There's no question about it. And he's the greatest golf architect that ever lived. And it's just a thrill for us to be back here and just take notes and see what it's like to see one of his masterpieces.
Let me tell you, 24 years ago, this 18th hole was practically the same. It's of all the holes on this golf course, they probably have changed it the least. Go out there and bang one out there about 280, and maybe you'll have a shot to the green.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Can't concede drives. That's fine.
Well, the very proud president of the Philadelphia Cricket Club is Al Thurell, and Al, you've been through now about 5 days of play here at Tillinghast's Cricket Club Wissahickon course. What's the reactions you're getting from members?
Very positive, Harry. It really, the restoration exceeds the expectation of the members. It's far beyond what we thought it would be. It's just tremendous. Every feature that has been restored, replaced, added has really been a terrific enhancement to the golf course. It'll be the kind of course that we want to play every day and over again.
Well, absolutely. You know, when you consider the number of courses, there are a few of them that have either 36 holes or 27 in the Philadelphia area. And now you have, with Militia Hill and now the redone product here, the Cricket Club's Wissahickon course, it doesn't get any better than this, does it?
Terrific. It's a lot of fun to have these great options. And then we have a little 9-hole course at Chestnut Hill. So we really have everything you could want in golf. It's really got a great golf center, great practice range as well. But this is the crowning glory now with the restoration of the Wissahickon course.
I'm sure when this restoration project was first discussed and then you saw it begin and you saw it under construction and now the finished product, in your own estimation, did it supersede everything you even thought was possible?
Yes, it really did. I mean, I had an idea of what it might be. The bones here are terrific, but to see the result, it just surpasses what I really felt that we would have here. It's just tremendous. Can't say enough for the crew here, Director of Golf Jim Smith, Dan Mearsman, the groundskeeper, and of course Keith Foster, and his vision and ideas and how he worked. And that was fun for us to watch him as he worked right from the beginning. He wanted to have a restoration that would be performed in a way that mules and hand working would have been done 90 years ago. And he was meticulous in that.
We are standing next to the Tillinghast Monument, which is right off the 18th green. Something else that's new and very fitting considering what Tillinghast means not only to golf here but around the country. And it's really a display of all the courses, some of the great golf courses in the country. And what he says here in his quote is, provide a true test to the game to consider every way to make it as beautiful as possible. And I think you and now your restoration committee have managed to do that again. And I'm just curious what you think Tillinghast would say about this.
Well, I think that he would be pleased and proud that we resurrected some of the things that over the years had been taken away and that we've restored to grandeur the golf course that he envisioned. And I think he would be very proud of that. And we're proud to celebrate his heritage and his contributions to Philadelphia golf.
You know, I'm sure as president you can appreciate the fact that in this day and age everybody has an opinion. And I'm sure everybody, perhaps members included here, were maybe some of them skeptical about what was going to happen. I think you've done a lot to remove that skepticism.
Yes, we certainly have. I don't think that anyone who has played it or walked it, no one really has said anything negative about it. And there were plenty of naysayers before, but people are universally very proud and pleased that that the restoration looks the way it does.
Al, job well done. Congratulations.
Okay, thanks, Harry. Appreciate it.
At this moment, across the country, families are packing their bags for a getaway. And no matter where they end up, they'll all be home by dinner. Plan your own at playgolfamerica.com. From finding fun and affordable programs to finding advice from PGA and LPGA professionals, playgolfamerica.com has a way for you to get away. Visit today for details. playgolfamerica.com, your link to the game.
This past week, local pros took a shot at the largest payday of the year, the annual PGA Haverford Golf Classic at Sunnybrook Golf Club, where the winning prize was $75,000. Well, the gentleman who was responsible for this huge event for Philadelphia Section PGA members, George Gannell, who is the founder of Haverford Trust. And George, also, 17 years now, your company has sponsored this event. Each year it gets bigger and better. Why such a commitment to Philadelphia area pros?
I never felt that the people in our immediate area ever had a chance to compete at the super pro level. And it could be location or families or lack of money. You know, to be on the tour, you got to have a lot of backers. So we started with a $10,000 first prize, and it's grown every year, and this year it's $75,000, and that's the largest one-day prize in the country. And my feeling on the $75,000 is to have change somebody's life. So I hope someday it'll be $100,000. But the funny thing is, the second prize is going to be still $5,000.
And you'll still be changed. changing people's lives. You know, I was going to ask you that. What kind of feedback have you received over the years from winners that have really touched you?
I've had, I'm going to say over the 17 years, maybe 300 letters, minimum. And they're handwritten, they're not typed. Gee, thanks a lot for the hamburgers and the money. It's heartfelt letters. So I feel like I'm doing something for the golfing community. Next year, the only change I'm going to make is to increase the money, but also have a bus for anyone that needs a bus to go home.
There you go. You're taking care of everything, George. Pleasure and congratulations. It's something, a real tribute to you and a great part of your legacy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Two other prominent members of the Haverford Trust Company, Benny Wittlisbach, who is the president,
yes,
and Joe McLaughlin, chairman and CEO of the board. All right, we heard from George and the history of the event, how the money has increased every year, how there has been tremendous feedback from the winners and what it meant to them and how it's changed lives. What's it mean for you folks, for Haverford Trust Company, to have this event every year?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, it's not just about the winners. It's also an opportunity for the local PGA pros to spend time together because they work incredibly hard and they never have an opportunity to interact with each other.
And with a first place prize of $75,000, there's a guy here or a woman here who could win this, who could make a big difference in their lives, making a big down payment on a home or paying for a college tuition. So it's a big deal, and I think it's a wonderful tribute to a guy who's been really good to golf and good to the financial world in Philadelphia.
And he also made a commitment to me, and I'm sure to everybody else and you people, the one thing that's going to increase next year is the prize money, right?
And George does not like publicity all that much. He's very low-key about this and very understated, and yet I think that any PGA pro around the country would love that opportunity to win money, but also spend time with the local pros as well.
Well, Joe, Benny, thanks very much for having us out here. It was a perfect day until the very end. But somebody's going to walk away here a very happy guy, and it's all because of people like you. I'm sitting here with our clubhouse leader, Rusty Harbold, assistant pro at Lancaster Country Club. And Rusty, you had quite a round, 5 under, 67. You've been sitting around here for a few hours because you played early this morning. How you feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. Feet are a little tired, but it's been a good day to sit around after a round like that. So I feel good.
How many times have you played in this event?
It's been about 4 or 5 times. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I've been coming out here for the last 4 or 5 years.
Nowhere. What was your best previous score? Do you remember?
I think it's been maybe 75, something like that. Hasn't been too low, but today just things started going right.
Was there any one key hole or one key shot where all of a sudden you said, you know what, this could be the day?
I think, well, I felt that way after the front 9. I had a lot of birdie shot 4 under, and then made the turn, bogeyed 11, so it started feeling like it might have been slipping away, but then I came back and birdied 13, 14, and after that I felt like, okay, I can maybe win this if I hold it together and finish strong. So
now, as I mentioned, you've been sitting here for a few hours watching different groups come in, different guys come in, scores being posted. It's got to be tough, isn't it, looking up there, just waiting to see if anybody equaled or bettered your score, and so far nobody has.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been too, it was tougher finishing the last 3 or 4 holes and keeping calm out there. Once I got done the round and was in good position, I mean, I wasn't that nervous after that. I mean, I did my work or what I could do. If someone comes in and posts a good round and beats me, I mean, more power to them. So
now, what are the members back at Lancaster Country Club going to be thinking about their assistant pro Rusty coming home with all the hardware and the cash?
I know. I didn't even really think about that yet. It's been such a crazy day after I finished that haven't thought about back home yet and how people are going to react. So I'm sure I'll get a lot of words of encouragement from the members there at Lancaster and the staff, and it'll be fun.
Congratulations on a super day and good luck to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So after we had to wait around for a rain delay and the completion of play the following day, Rusty Harbold had the victory and $75,000. Congratulations, Rusty. Inside Golf continues with Teed Off in just a moment.
Steadiest player.
When you step out, make sure you go all in. Because at Valley Forge Casino Resort, we're rolling out the action. And we'll bring it all to the table. So take us for a spin and go all in for the win. Valley Forge Casino Resort. It's safe, it's chic, and only a shuffle away from the main line.
Guests of Teed Off receive gift certificates to any of the 8 restaurants at Valley Forge Casino at King of Prussia.
This is a system they've come up with. It just happens to perplex all of us.
But welcome back to Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management. Today we're at the Valley Forge Casino Resort at the Pacific Prime Restaurant for Teed Off. And our panel includes Ken Dunnick, who's the publisher of Jersey Man magazine, former collegiate and professional football player. And Ken, it's always good to see you.
Great to be
Soon
here.
to add, by the way, this summer, Philly Man magazine. Mike Kern is no stranger to our Teed Off panel. Mike is, of course, golf writer for the Philadelphia Daily News and writes about more than golf. And today he's going to share his opinions on Teed Off. And Joe Logan of myphillygolf.com. Recently, guys, Adam Scott moved to the world #1 spot in the world rankings, taking over for Tiger Woods, who has had it, I think, something like 630 weeks in his career. Adam Scott moved up, and Joey did it without having won a tournament in over a year. He won the Masters. That's the last one in 2013. I'm not going to ask you to explain the world golf rankings, but I know it's a 2-year rollover thing. And he just kind of, just by staying there and, you know, maybe having a couple top tens, was able to be #1.
He's been one of the steadiest players. Remember, he almost won the British Open last year also, or was it the year before? But he has been a very steady player.
Oh, he's been on the cusp of a couple tournaments.
But if I understood the way the world golf rankings worked, I would be the first and only person ever. It does. What I can tell you, it's a 2-year rolling average, and they try to. It's based on the quality, the strength of the field. It's, you know, the whole idea is to be fair not only to players on the PGA Tour, but the European Tour and the Asian Tour, so that those guys playing against strong fields. You know, how do you compare apples and oranges of golfers around the world? And this is the system they've come up with. It just happens to perplex all of us.
But Mike, I guess my next question is, okay, when you think of #1 in the world, you think, wow, this is like an indomitable guy.
I don't need a
Is
world
Adam Scott that type of person, do you
well,
think?
some of the people who've been #1 have not been that indomitable guy. But, like, for instance, Henrik Stenson last year had a stretch for about 2 months where he was the best golfer in the world. I didn't need a rankings to tell me that. I think he got up to #2. I don't think he ever made it to #1.
Luke Donald did, though, remember?
Yeah, Luke Donald. I mean,
without having won.
Yeah.
Well, he might have won. He didn't win a major, but I think he won. But what I'm saying is, it's just, you don't need somebody to tell me, but it's just, you know, you got to use your common sense. And Scott will not be #1 shortly if he doesn't start doing more than he's done, let's say, in the last 6 months. Somebody will pass him or whatever, but I think it's just a way to keep people to say, hey, #4 in the world, #8 in the world, this in the world, that in the world.
It doesn't reflect hot streaks. It doesn't reflect hot streaks.
What it does reflect, though, is marketability, I think, Ken. And if you or your agent can go to a sponsor or potential sponsor and say, hey, my guy now is #1 in the world, that's going to translate into dollars for whoever that is, right?
The playing field is leveled out in golf. I mean, with Tiger gone, there really isn't a dominant player. I think Jimmy Walker had the great stretch this year where he won 2 or 3 in a row, and they were talking about him as the potential top player in the world. He doesn't have the background or the record of success to be #1 in the world golf rankings, but I mean, it's a, you know, you're seeing every week a guy that can come step in and win, and it may be a guy you've never heard of.
And speaking about guys who we've never heard of, how about Patrick Reed this year before he went out and said he was the one of the top 3 players in the world? That hasn't really reached fruition yet, and he may live to eat those words, right?
Well, he sort of backpedaled a little bit a week or so later, but yeah, you couldn't recognize him on a milk carton. You know, but he's a
even
good
on
player.
a golf course.
But you do have to love the confidence, though. I mean, it is one thing to think it; it's another thing to say it. But I do like the mindset of, hey, you're not going to be #1 unless you think you're #1, and he's certainly
the best
does.
golfer in the world is usually the guy that won that week, and if it's a major, especially, so when like Duffner won the PGA last August, did he care that he was number whatever he was in the world at that time, 7, 8, whatever? No. You know, it's and I think you have to take it for what it's worth. Is it a measuring stick? Yeah, in a sense, but you know, sometimes not always.
And what happens is some guys who just fall off the face of the earth when it comes to where are they. A guy like Mike Weir, now he had a great Byron Nelson a couple weeks ago. He finished second. He was in the hunt the last day. He went up 400 spots. He was ranked over 600 in the world. With that second place finish, Mike Weir went to like 235 or something like that. That's a huge jump.
It is a huge jump. But I can remember when Tiger was at his peak. He was number one, and the gap between him at number one and Phil Mickelson at number two was the same as the gap between Phil at number two and like the guy at number 1,000. That's how big a lead Tiger had. So you can make these big leaps if you do what Mike Weir did, but it's hard to make it to number one.
And if you win certain tournaments, Mike, I mean, like a Sean O'Haire. If a Sean O'Haire, I don't know what he is ranked currently. I know he's not high. If he were to come out of the box and win something like the U.S. Open,
Right.
my God,
Which
he'd probably be in the top 10.
No, he won't
No?
go that high. No, you don't. But he might make a Mike Weir jump. He might go from 400 or 380 or whatever up to 200 or something like that, and that would stay on his record for 2 years.
2 years.
And which helps. But eventually, I'm of the belief you still have to do something. Like Adam Scott will not be number one in the world because he's going to carry in all the weight of last year and the year before that right now. Well, at some point near the end of this year, the beginning of next year, that's all going to be gone. So you do have to start proving your stuff over and over again, but it's something to have fun with and we can get teed off about.
Oh, that's a perfect way to end this segment. Thanks, Mike. Perfect segue. That's teed off. Inside Golf comes back with more in just a moment. The Valley Forge Casino Resort is the region's only full amenity gaming resort, and it's only seconds from the Pennsylvania Turnpike at King of Prussia. It features 600 slots, 50 table games, plus 8 restaurants designed to meet all of your dining needs. So put the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort on your destination list.
Free enterprise is the engine that drives our economy. Everyday businesses, big and small, work to make life better for their customers and a better life for themselves. Susquehanna knows successful businesses need a strong financial partner, someone who can help keep your business running at peak efficiency. The people of Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts for businesses like yours. Member FDIC.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Hope you enjoyed our revisit to the Philadelphia Cricket Club's Wissahickon course. And if you're a member of the Cricket Club, you are very, very fortunate. What a job that restoration committee did to enhance golf at the Cricket Club. Also, our thanks to George Cannell and the folks at Haverford Trust for having us here at Sunnybrook, and a look at this year's event, the PGA Haverford Golf Classic. And congratulations to Rusty Harbaugh, this year's winner. So that's going to do it for Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. And we'll see you next week on Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management. Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Wealth Management, helping you build, manage, and preserve wealth. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.